Alright, I'm starting the movie in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to the Rotten Commentatoes podcast. I am your host, Keegan Robertson, joined as always by my co-host, Darren Mortimer. Today we're going to be watching The Ritual, which is basically the Blair Witch fucked cabin in the woods, and they had a baby, and it was a fucking half-horse Loki god. If you haven't seen the movie, you're not going to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Basically, spoiler alert, this movie has a fucking retarded monster in it. Movie starts out, a bunch of guys going to a funeral because their buddy named...
His name is
Robert.
Robert. His name is Robert.
So we're going to quickly do this.
Robert gets fucked up in a liquor store.
By a couple of crackheads.
Yeah, he gets smashed in the face with a machete, and his buddy Luke is in the store with him, hiding behind one of the liquor shelves. And so it's weaved in and out of the movie is this, obviously, the guilt
basic synopsis
and responsibility he feels.
We follow this douchebag named Luke, who's a total pussy, to let his best friend get murdered by two crackheads.
Oh, what are you supposed to do? Crackhead with a machete? What's he supposed to do?
Okay, so the crux of the movie is that you would probably let your best friend die too. I'm not for that shit. No. I'm sorry. No. Two crackheads with a fucking pipe and a knife. I'm not just standing there letting them fuck me up. If it was a gun, maybe it'd be believable.
Dude, it's not a knife. It's like a fucking machete.
I don't give a shit. They're not commandos or crackheads.
And to be fair, this Robert guy is a bit of a fucking twat.
Oh,
mate.
yeah. Robert.
All he had to do was give up the fucking ring, and he would have been fine. He would have been right as rain.
Yeah, so the crackheads rob Robert. Spoiler alert, he dies. And he won't take off his fucking wedding ring. They're like, hey man, give us your fucking wedding ring, we gotta buy crack. And then he's like, no, that I can't replace that. And they're like, okay, we're gonna kill you then. And then they beat the shit out of him.
Pretty sure your wife would have wanted you to give up the old ring. The old ring, mate. The old ring.
If there is a moral to this fucking tale of depraved British people that really need to learn how to camp, it's that you give up the wedding ring, guys. If you like it, then you shouldn't put a ring on it. That's what I gotta say. Alright, so Luke's alive. He let his best friend die because he's a total useless twat to cop the British there. And then his buddies Phil, Hutch, and Dom go out in the woods to pay their respects to Mr. Wedding Ring Dead Guy Robert.
Yes, because they're all the movie starts out with them discussing where their next trip should be, and one guy wants to go to Amsterdam, and most of them want to do the kind of stereotypical lads adventure, and the one guy Robert suggests going hiking on this trail in Switzerland, I believe. Switzerland,
wherever, one
of the two. And so they're now hiking this trail.
Whatever
to honor their dead mate.
Whatever accent where you kind of sound like a gay Nazi, that's what country they're in.
Oh,
hello. Und how are you? Wunderbar.
It's good to see you, dude. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Did you get a haircut? It looks nice.
Exactly. The most least threatening Nazi possible. The most least. So they hike up this hill in Sweden or whatever, and they pour out brandy for their boy Robert, and then they start heading back to their little lodge they were staying at, and they get lost because they're British people in the woods. Like, how the fuck could you not see that coming, people? Come on. And this movie basically follows them on a fucked up kind of Blair Witch style horror, which is really good. The first half of this movie is done really well. The movie's super clean. Freaky. It's got a nice filter on it. The landscapes are beautiful. And despite that you can't understand what the fuck they're saying the odd time, these guys have pretty good dialogue. You start to get to know them a little bit. But the whole thing's kind of a mess at the end. It's like a lot of the essays that I write. You get a good middle, and then you're like, oh, fuck, how do I finish this off? And you're like, I have no idea. That's this movie.
And eat a couple brownies, and then finish it off.
Oh, dude, I've never tried to write when I've been stoned. That would be fun. Which is weird.
You mentioned the epic landscape shots.
Yes.
And so for me, that kind of like, it dwarfs the characters. It almost makes this great wilderness that they're trekking through another character that is much larger than they are.
You think it's a metaphor for life, Darren?
I don't know. I think, no, maybe no. I think it's just a metaphor for maybe they should have watched more Survivor, man.
I think it's a couple of blokes lost in the woods. The woods is life. Letting your friend get killed by a couple of crackheads in a fucking liquor store. That's a metaphor for being scared. And then having a giant horse monster lift you into the trees. Now that's marriage. And that's why he died when he wouldn't give up the ring. That's what happens to you if you don't give up the ring. A large horse monster impales you on a fucking tree.
It's like a horse buck with little T-Rex arms coming out of the front.
And then its head is like a void, it's like doesn't have a physical form at the very center of it.
No, but it has like eyes like a Jawa from Star Wars.
Yeah, it's basically like a Jawa from Star Wars and a centaur, and then really shitty CGI fucked, and they made a monster.
OTD.
But I think they were trying to go really old school Norse mythology, because Loki actually does fuck like a 6-legged horse, I believe, in Norse mythology. They do a bunch of hinky shit. Okay. Yeah. Norse mythology
so
has
that's
some
the
fun
bastard
stuff.
child. That's Loki's bastard child.
Oh yeah, no, they say that straight out in the movie, that the monster at the end is Loki's bastard child.
God damn it, Tom Hiddleston just fucking shit up.
Would you not watch Tom Hiddleston fuck a horse though? Come on. Like not even for any sort of sexual gratification. If you knew that there was a video of Tom Hiddleston fucking a horse, you just gotta see that shit to know that it's real. In my humble opinion.
Just to know that it's real.
Yeah. I got a theory, and I use it for a lot of things, but it's like, if you could know when you would die, like if somebody wrote it down on a piece of paper the day that you were going to die, and they were like, alright, you don't have to look at this, but you can, eventually you would fucking look at it. I think that's the same way with anything in life. Anything that you're not supposed to know, you inherently have to know it after a certain point in time.
But it'd be like one of those Greek tragedy things, and by looking at it and by knowing, then that knowledge will help you fulfill that day of death.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. I think the one problem with this movie is there's a lot of fucking wandering through the woods. This is like an art film by like a NYU film student. Like, well, we gotta make it feature length, but we got about 20 minutes of content. What can we do? If we tried making a giant horse monster and then follow him through the woods for half an hour. Genius. Fucking genius. So these guys are wandering through the woods. The one guy buckles his knee because he's a puss. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and he's being a big bitch about it. So
Dom.
instead of going around the forest, they go through the forest.
Through the forest. So Dom
which
is like,
turns out to be a bad fucking idea, right?
Dom is like this accountant type dude. He's got a bum knee, and then he's walking on it, but he's like, fuck, I don't want to walk the long way. Like, let's take a shortcut through these woods. Like, okay, so they start taking the shortcut, and they see a deer strung up 10 feet in the air in the trees, and they're like, oh shit. And then you as the viewer are like, oh shit, stuff's gonna get real in this movie.
Yeah, and I thought these trees look so cool because they're all dead. Like, it's obviously autumn or winter or approaching because there's no leaves on these trees.
Well,
they're just dead trees.
I actually believe that because of the cover at the top, a lot of trees will die at the base because there's no need for leaves when the sunlight's not getting through.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
I think
point.
they just go bare at the base. That's and it is the Black Forest. They're in the Black Forest around Germany, or some shit. And yeah, I believe that's where they filmed it. So Black Forest is like a thick motherfucking
some
forest.
Geography here.
You know why they call it the Black Forest? Because you can't see shit. Because there's so much goddamn leaves at the top, boys. That's what I'm telling you right now. So, welcome to the fucking Today I Learned podcast.
Today I learn with Keegan and
Except
Darren.
that there's a brackets where you should probably Google what I just said because I have no fucking idea.
Take this to your professor, and you might get credits for these episodes. Who knows?
So they're wandering around. They're being British. They're talking about smoking a fag and also smoking cigarettes. Hey.
Hey!
They find a hut, and in this little dirge, this little cabin, they come across a fucked up kind of idol in the upstairs. It's made of straw and shit.
Super.
Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me, actually. You should go watch this movie right now if you haven't, because it's got some pretty good jump scares. But then turn it off at about an hour in. Just shut it the fuck off. This movie parallels the Blair Witch Project in a lot of ways. Obviously, because they're wandering the woods, there's lost campers, blah, 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 blah. But what made Blair Witch successful is not only that it was the first of its kind, but that it also didn't show the monster. And one of the best rules of filmmaking is show less of a monster in this situation. Because the more that you have your big bad in direct light, the less mystery there is, man. Like, you can't make a monster that's as good as something that you'd make up in your head.
Exactly. And they totally shit the bed on that with this one.
God damn, shit the bed.
And I told you about this idea for a movie I've had for a long time.
Have you?
And now, I sent you a big, long-winded message on Facebook about it. And this movie is so similar that I can't do it now.
Ruined.
Because people will just think I fucking ripped this movie off.
And this is not a movie that you want to be ripping off.
No, exactly. And there's some pretty big key differences, but there's also way too many similarities. Like a bunch of friends hiking through the woods. They get lost. They start losing shit. I definitely took some inspiration from the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, everybody does.
So they start having these fucked up dreams and turning on each other, and they eventually straight up get lost. Like, these guys aren't like fully lost. They kind of know where they are and know where they're trying to go.
Yeah.
But they start to really lose their minds, and the whole shit's based off of
the Blair Witch Project.
I think it's Algonquin. No, an Algonquin legend about this thing called a Wendigo.
Oh, cool.
That forces people into cannibalism. Ooh. So there's some big differences, but there's also way too many similarities.
Fair enough. Well, if you wanted to do a Wandering in the Woods movie, I think you're fucked from the start. The one cool thing that I do enjoy about this movie is there's some dream sequences where they mesh in the forest floor with the liquor store where Luke watched his buddy get killed. So they actually just transplant set pieces from that liquor store into the woods, and he wanders through it, and it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I thought this movie was going to be awesome. I couldn't wait to see what the monster was, etc. And then it just kind of went nowhere with it. But back to the movie ideas. Did I tell you about the movie that I wanted to write?
Huh.
Okay, so think like Jurassic Park, but instead of dinosaurs, you're in the Old West. So Darren, bear with me. So you're in the Old West, and you get to play out your fantasies of the Old West, gunfighting, fucking old-timey hookers, blah, 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 blah. But it turns out all the Old West people that you interact with are just robots.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That's never been done before.
I think I'm going to call it Old-Time Saloon World. And it's I might develop it into a series on HBO, but I'm not sure.
All right. You know who might be interested in
Who's that?
Jonathan Nolan and J.J. Abrams.
I was thinking, I know Tony Hopkins, and I was hoping to get him involved. Like, not to be confused with Anthony Hopkins. It's just a guy named Tony Hopkins that I went to high school with.
Hopkins. This is Tony Hopkins. Hey, Tony!
I would fucking, if I ever see Anthony Hopkins in Vancouver or some shit, I am totally walking up being like, Tony!
Hey, Tony Hopkins!
And then he'll probably slap me with a cane or something.
Class of 69! Whatever the fuck Anthony Hopkins would have graduated high school.
Probably like 49. Anyway.
I guess
he's 108. So they start to have these dream sequences. The characters are pretty well rounded. There gets to be some friction between Luke, the coward, and the rest of the crew. So that Dom fella that has the bum knee basically calls Luke a pussy for letting his friend die, which is like, yeah, Dom, that's... Everybody knows that, but you don't just go saying that when you're locked in the woods with some crazy asshole. And the other two are to kind of defend him. Asha Ali, who plays Phil, is losing his shit because he can't believe, like, he's the only guy that's kind of like, oh man, like, something's happening out here. There's something supernatural.
Dude, the dreams he has by far the most frightening experience. This guy wakes up, he's naked, and he's sleptwalked upstairs, and now he's naked, worshiping this idol that they've discovered in the top floor. It's probably my favorite scary moment in the movie. It's just so fucked up, so dark.
Yeah, and then you've got Hutch, who's basically the McDreamy for all of you Grey's Anatomy fans, which probably zero. But he's like the leader type. He's pretty uninteresting. Yeah. He sacrificed
and
himself.
And he's pissed himself. He's fucking pissed himself, the cunt.
Oh, yeah, and Phil has pissed himself. But so,
no, not Phil. Hutch.
Hutch.
Yeah, Mr. Dreamboat that you're talking about.
Oh,
here.
yeah, Hutch pissed himself, right. So he's not that brave. But anyway, you get these characters, they got their motivations. It's pretty well done. But once again, guys, it's British people in the woods. Like, it's just so unbelievable, you know?
Hey, man, Survivor Man's British. He's hard as fuck.
Survivor Man's British?
I'm pretty sure.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
I'm calling bullshit right there. I'm
pretty sure.
I'm looking.
No, not Survivor Man. Bear Grylls. I'm thinking about Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls drinks his own piss, for fuck's sake. Who cares? We're going into the woods, and I'm gonna drink my own piss. Bear, there's a stream right over there, and I'm gonna drink my own piss. Hey, governor, you want a pint?
It's for the viewers at home.
It's my fucking
they need to know.
Ooh. Okay, so they're wandering away from the little hut, and everybody's losing their shit, and then Luke the coward walks up the hill, and he sees a fucking hand, like 10 feet up in the air, reach around a tree. Ooh, so creepy. This movie's setup is so good. I don't know what happened at the end, because they were like really getting it. We also skipped over the fact that there are a lot of carvings in the trees on their way in.
So, yeah, creepy kind of Blair Witch Project kind of hieroglyphy symbol things.
Yeah, they kind of pass a perimeter of these ritual carvings and shit.
I don't know about you, but after that whole experience in the cabin, I would have been turned right the fuck back. See you later. I'm out of here. Peace the fuck out.
I mean, I think if I saw a fucking hand 10 feet up in the air in the trees, I would just start a giant fucking forest fire. That's what I'd do.
Just burn the forest down.
Sweden.
Burn it down!
Fuck the Black Forest. I think they're actually supposed to be in Sweden, but it's filmed in Germany. I'm not geographically challenged. But, yeah, no, I'd definitely fucking cut all that shit down and just start a giant fire. Because you know who's coming to put it out? The fucking firefighters. I'll be like, hey, boys, while you're at it, why don't you cut up this giant fucking horse demon that Tom Hiddleston's fucking... There's a lot of things they could have done. At no point did they even, like, sharpen a fucking stick for a spear. You remember that movie The Edge with Tony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin? Or Lex Baldwin, as I like to call him.
The Edge?
Yeah, they fight a fucking bear.
Oh my god, I didn't see that movie in so fucking long.
Yeah, and they get a big giant 10-foot stick and they spear the bear at the end. Another spoiler. I'm ruining movies left, right, and center.
Yeah. Motherfuckers, spoiler alert up in this bitch. But, yeah, he just lays down and sticks it up and the bear jumps on it.
Yeah, so
like impales himself.
These assholes could have probably done that. I'm just saying, I'd get very paranoid.
These assholes could have turned the fuck around and gone back to jolly old fucking England, mate.
These guys are probably busy, like, rolling moss up into toilet paper to make a fucking tea bag instead of trying to figure out how to defend themselves. Right, cheerio, boys. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, time to get some tea.
Oi, Hutch, would you like a cuppa? Get the kettle on, Paul.
Why are you fucking around with a spear? We're about to have a fag and a cup of tea. Uh, I hope there's a British guy that listens to this.
I'm a British guy.
You're not a fucking British guy. You're Canadian, bud.
Check out my passport, motherfucker.
Where were you born, Chief?
Huh?
Where were you born?
So this is the interesting story.
No, never mind. I don't care. No, I don't.
I was born in Zambia.
Yeah, you're not fucking
citizen.
British then, motherfucker.
But I'm a UK citizen because my dad's a UK citizen.
Oh my god. Okay, here's the thing, bud. I went to grade school with a couple of fucking douchebags that had this club that was only for Italians, and they would kind of talk like this a little bit. They were in grade fucking 7.
They
were in grade fucking 7, talking like Tony Soprano. And then they would walk around the field at lunchtime just talking amongst themselves. There's 3 of them that did it. And I was like, hey guys, like one of them was a good friend of mine. I was like, hey guys, can I hang out with you today? No, Italians only, Keegan, Italians only. So I had a Czechoslovakian grandmother, and I just lied and said she was Italian so I could hang out with them. And then I did it for one like lunch hour. I just followed this little circuit they were doing. And they just talked about shit about their family and stuff. It was super boring. Anyway, those clubs are stupid. If you're not fucking Italian, if you weren't born in Italy, I'm sorry. You don't get the baggage of fucking coming from somewhere that you're not from. You're Canadian first. Alright?
Oh, I'm definitely Canadian first before anything else.
I got a serious bone to pick with that. I have some kids I gotta beat up that used to fuck with me.
Hey, I'm gonna talk to you like this now, Keegan. I'm gonna go, hey, I'm gonna use my hands, I'm gonna do a lot of gesticulating, I'm gonna do talking like this.
Hey, Darius, me, Keegan. You mind if I join your fucking podcast? I'm super Italian.
Eh, baffangulo.
This is the Accents podcast.
Yeah,
I think we lost everyone. Oh yeah, the movie's still on. They're wandering through the woods. There's still a bunch of Nancy boys. They don't have a fire going. They don't have fuck all going. They lost their tents. They found a dead hiker. And they're still wandering through the woods. Luke is still dealing with the fact that he was a little bitch and let his friend die. We get it, Luke. You got regrets, son. We all got regrets. We don't go wandering around in the woods with 3 other dudes doing it.
Yes, Luke is walking around with a great deal of weight on his shoulders.
Oh, and then their buddy gets ripped out of a tent, and they go looking for him, and he's strung up 10 feet in a fucking tree.
Oh, and he's just gutted.
Just gutted, mate.
Just gutted. His guts are hanging out all over the fucking place.
Lovely. Lovely.
Now look at this. This pansy Dom is about to puke.
So, to recap, we got Luke, the coward, Dom with the bum knee, and Phil, who masturbates at idols when he's asleep. And Dom starts burying their buddy, because that's the right, proper British thing to do. I'll tell you what, boys, we might die in these woods,
Keegan,
and we might not
I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna get this out. If we're ever hiking through the woods and there's a giant creature killing us, and you find my corpse, just get the fuck out. Don't bury me. Don't waste time giving me a proper burial. They don't even bury him. They cover him with sticks.
That's how little they know about the outdoors. Oh, how do you do this? How do you do this, mate, when you're out in the woods?
Get the fuck out of there. Who gives a shit?
I'm going to take this big log and I'm going to just roll it on top of them. That counts, right?
We can't just leave him here. Yes, we can. Now let's get the fuck out of there. So, yes, you have my permission, Keegan. Not that I think you would need it. I'm pretty sure you would leave me.
Ah, Darren, no, I need you for cannon fodder. I'd strap you to my fucking back so I can see what's going on behind me. It's very Lord of the Rings. You know when Sam and Frodo are wandering and they're just having the toughest time? And Frodo keeps looking over. Sam, we've got to do this. That's what they're like. They're just suffering super hard. They've been out in the woods for like one fucking day, for God's sake. They're like drinking out of puddles and shit. Like, come on, boys. Where's your fucking water? You went on this goddamn 3-day hike or whatever. You got no water.
No, because they lost all their shit.
Ah, fuck.
When they got up in the middle of the night and Hutch was gone out of his tent, they go running after him, and they get turned around, and then they don't know, they can't get back to their tent. So they've lost all their gear, all their shit is gone now.
Also, another thing is like, okay, so the first night they have weird hallucinations. The second night, one of them gets strung up from a tree. I start sleeping in the fucking day and keep a watch. These guys are so unprepared. There's got to be some way to not have your boys getting stronger from trees while you're all having a nap. Super amateur.
I don't think keeping watch is going to help these guys. They're dealing with a demigod.
Yeah.
I wonder if this creature is ever like calling his dad for help. Because he's not a full on god.
What nationality is the demigod?
I think he's Norse, so I guess he'd be
Norwegian.
You know,
I can't do a Norwegian accent.
Danish, Swedish,
I can't
that
do
whole
any
kind of
these.
area.
Faja.
Faja.
I can't trick these campers. What should I do? Have you tried the whoopee cushion, son? It's a trick.
Move the trees about.
Wave them about in the air. Have you tried stringing them up from the trees 10 feet in the air and gutting them?
Yes, Papa, I've
that's
done
not
that.
working?
I've done that, and they keep coming. Papa.
Accents are fun.
This is the accent podcast.
I think the moment that I just said that, we lost the last person. There's nobody. There's nobody that can make it through this one.
The last one of 4 people listening.
If sir or madam or whatever you go by, you fucking goblin, if you've made it through this podcast at the end, comment down below. Just so we know you exist.
Yes, and also if you're still here, if you're still listening, share this podcast with your friends. If you like listening to this podcast, share it with the world. Tell everyone about it.
Me and Darren are going to do 200 of these and then we're going to quit, so it doesn't matter. You can do it.
That's like 4 years of podcasts.
Who gives a fuck? It's like an hour a day. Well, we'd be doing this anyway.
A week.
What?
An hour a day? Well, I guess if we did one every day.
I don't know. I'm not good with math.
But then you gotta
do a movie podcast.
It's an hour for the podcast, and it's like an hour and a half to like 2.5 hours for the movie.
And it's about 9. It's about 9 days for me to just decide to do the 30 minutes of editing required.
Yep.
So Tweedledee, Tweedledum are still alive. Phil, the guy that was jerking off to idols, has been strung up from a fucking tree. Surprise, surprise. Now Dom and Luke have like this reuniting moment where it's like, "Hey mate, sorry I called you a pussy for letting our friend Rob die." And Luke's like, "Don't worry about it, I'm a pussy." And then they start hiding.
How's your knee?
The weirdest thing about this is, okay, so it's nighttime and they're running away from this monster, and at this point you know that the monster's like really fucking big because it's hanging people 10 feet from the trees, like it's big, and it's pot horse. And it's pot fucking gargoyle. And it's pot fucking magma monster.
Part buck.
It's a lot of things.
With its antlers.
It's kind of spidery.
Part T-Rex, part Jawa.
Yeah, it's got shit going on. But they're hiding and they're talking. So number one, they're talking. Like, it's not a fucking... It's an animal! It's a god! You think you can just talk and just go, "Oh, I don't hear you guys. I don't have supernatural hearing or anything, you fucking idiots." And second of all, they have the flashlight on the whole time. It's the black fucking forest at midnight. It's blacker than a fucking... I'm trying to go for an anus metaphor. It's blacker than the inside of Darren's anus in there.
Hey! Leave my
and you got a fucking flashlight and you think you're hiding? Give me a break, boys. I wanted these fuckers to die at this point. I just want them to die, guys.
This is where the movie starts to kind of falter big time.
Yeah, because they come upon a little village in the woods, and they get knocked out and tied up, and then all these fucking super Eastern European people start talking to them and shit.
And they're all thin and gross looking, and you kind of get the distinct feeling that there's some inbreeding happening amongst these people.
Yeah, they just got the average citizen from the streets of Denmark.
They're the Swedish inbred hillbillies. The Swedish hillbillies. And this creepy old witch-looking lady reveals that she has the same wound on her chest as as Luke the Coward from the Dream.
No, we forgot to mention that. Luke the Coward had a fucking 5-pointed mark put on him during one of the dream sequences. He's got like a little holes in his chest that bled. So they show each other the fucking marks, and then they're like, okay. And they take Dom instead of Luke. Because Luke's special.
And you know, if they're gonna eat anybody, Dom's got the most meat on him.
He is the Samwise Gamgee of the crew for sure.
He totally is in more than one way.
He physically looks a lot like a really ugly Sean Astin. Like if you hit the top of Sean Astin's head with a sledgehammer pretty hard, you would get this other actor.
Or like maybe
name? The other actor's name is Sam Troughton.
He's even got the Sam Troughton. What, the name's Sam Troughton, guys. Nice to meet ya.
Yeah, they got some ridiculous names in this movie. Hutch, his name is Robert James Collier. Dom is Sam Troughton. And then, of course, we got Osher Ali.
The Fiend.
Very British. There's a lot, like, you know, in the African-American names, they got DeMarcus, D'Angelo, shit like that. Well, the British definitely have some weird shit going on with their names, too, that I did not realize until I looked at this IMDb page.
Jacob James Beswick.
Hello, my name is James Jordan Humbercrump.
Oh, I'm going to use that in D&D. That's definitely going to be
don't talk about D&D.
In my next D&D session.
Stop saying D&D, Darren.
Is that what you said? The name is James Jordan Humbercrump.
I don't like Jordan. That sounds too American.
Jacob James Humbercrump.
There we go. Perfect. And he's a butler. So they're gonna sacrifice Dom. We get to see the monster. It looks fucking stupid, guys. Spoiler alert, when you cross a deer with a Jawa, with a spider, with a horse, you get a stupid looking animal, boys. You get a stupid looking animal.
This is tall motherfucker. Tall, four-legged, skinny creature with antlers.
It reaches out. It's got two human arms that it reaches out and grabs him by the face and lifts him up. And then carries him over to the trees, and then he's just like, spork, and he sticks him through the branches and kills him. Like, that's what this animal does. It's got these horns and shit. Hey, you know why a fucking deer has horns? So it can go and fucking headbutt other deer and headbutt other animals with it. This guy's just got horns for show, I guess. Like, there's no reason that it's a horse.
Are you applying Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection to a demigod right now?
Darren, if nobody does that, we're just gonna be in complete anarchy with our movies. Oh my god, oh shit. The sound isn't on, and then I saw the fucking thing's face. It's actually kind of gross.
It is gross.
Oh, fuck.
One part of this, like, as much as I hate the sort of climax and ending of this movie, one part that I really thought was cool was when they were having their first dream in the cabin, their nightmares, Dom was yelling about his wife, Gail. And now we see that Dom has actually dreamt about this. Because
that's weird.
This creature comes out of the woods, and all he sees is his wife. And he just starts, like, yelling her name. Gail, Gail. And so that's obviously where that whole thing came from. And then all of a sudden, he does no longer seeing Gail. He's seeing this fucking creature that kills him. And this is where it really starts to just take a big shit.
Okay, also, I just wanted to say real quick, you know that Pokemon Cloyster? Or what's the evolution of Cloyster? You know, like the big fucking clam one?
I'm not a Pokemon guy.
Super Clam? Whatever that clam fucking Pokemon is.
Super Clam?
The monster.
Is that a big vaginal monster?
The monster looks kind of like the Cloyster or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm Googling it right now.
I can hear your tippity-tappity.
Yeah, it's Cloyster. I was right. Booyah. Booyah. Anyway, go Google Cloyster, and then you'll know exactly what the monster's head looks like, but then just attach that to a horse with arms.
With antlers on a head, and then some extra kind of human T-Rexy arms coming out.
Okay, so now Luke the coward is the only one left because everybody's been impaled on fucking trees.
This is the part that I hate the most.
In retrospect, this is just so bad. Like, why is it impaling people on trees? Even if it ate people, it would be better. I would love a good scene where the monster just fucking sucks them back alive, chews them up.
Well, I mean, I kind of think that I thought that it's obviously some kind of ritualistic thing that they got going on there. But this is when the movie really started to bother me, is the pacing of this whole climax with Luke trying to escape from this cabin, because they've basically revealed that he's being chosen as the new member of this tribe, this cult tribe.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a ritual that is going to be happening, and he's going to be like taken into the fold. And so everyone in this tribe has the same mark on their chest as he does. So, but he's a rebel. Luke's a rebel, and he's ready to redeem his cowardice.
The biggest pussy in the whole movie has a turnaround for basically no reason. He lets all of his friends die. He let one friend die, then he let them all die, and now he's done. You know what?
So
now that it doesn't matter, I'm gonna fucking turn it around.
And then he just starts
that everything has been killed.
He starts creeping around the house, and the pacing is like, it's so weird and slow, and there's this sort of almost like investigation.
It's gone adventure mode.
Yeah, all of a sudden
he's like a fucking video game character.
He's investigating this fucking cabin instead of trying to get the fuck out as quickly as possible.
And I think that's the hubris of the filmmaker. They made all these set pieces and shit, and they're like, oh, actually, this movie makes no sense. We better fucking explain it and show what's going on. I really quickly wanted to... Jesus Christ, I hate this monster now. Keeps scaring me. The best and worst... two of the worst scenes and one of the best scenes happen in a quick succession of 2 minutes in this movie. He walks upstairs of this cabin that he's been held in, and in it are these zombies that are like asleep, and he walks past one and it opens its mouth and it's like, rah, and it looks like an 80s horrors movie, like Army of Darkness style fucking zombie. It looks so cheesy and ridiculous, and then he just reaches over and lights it on fire, and I was like, fuck, this is so bad. Walks down for no reason, by the way. It's never explained why the fucking zombies are there. I don't care. I'm not even sad about it.
I'm pretty sure I know what they're there for, because
they've been there for so long.
This girl is telling him that if he accepts the blessing of this god, he's never going to die. So I think it's like, oh, you don't die, but your body still like rots and decays and turns to shit, and eventually you're not going to be able to move. So we're just going to like stick you on a chair in the attic, and you're just going to be up there groaning for all eternity.
Mm-hmm. And then so he walks out of that room, walks down the stairs. The old lady at the beginning walks up to him, and then he just fucking one punches her. And that was the best scene in the whole fucking movie. So they just getting decked.
Knocks a bitch the fuck out.
And then he walks out to the door, and the fucking monster drops the body of another one of these praying people, and it's pulled out her eyes because, I don't know, sometimes it fucking puts you up against a tree, but if you're its followers, it sucks out your eyeballs and you die.
I think that's just like a group of people going, oh, what can we do? What can the monster do to this character? What would be like really grotesque? And he gouges out her eyes. Yes. Write that down. He gouges out her eyes.
Yeah, it's just, and then he fucking finally faces his fear, fights the monster that weighs like 1,000 pounds, and somehow staves it off.
For whatever reason, he's turned against, this monster has now turned against all these villagers that have been loyal worshippers of this creature. Turns against them, starts killing them because the house gets set on fire. And then the one person who's actually responsible for all this shit, for some reason, it doesn't kill him. It throws him on the ground, and it kind of stands up on its hind legs and does a big show. And this guy, Luke, just gets up and runs out of the trees, past the tree line, and back out of the forest. And this thing,
and the monster's like,
can't follow him.
You.
Or either that, or like can't follow him for whatever reason. Like he only has power within his domain of the forest. But my question is, what the fuck is this village, or this center of all of this cult and this god, doing on the fucking edge of this creature's domain. It should be like in the depths, in the center of the forest, where no one can escape. No, let's set up fucking shop right at the edge of the tree line, so any fucking idiot that can dash 250 meters gets away. Give me a break.
Well, also, what if you hike the opposite direction? So, like, the first thing you walk into is this village. You're like, I actually haven't gotten lost yet. I don't even know about the creature.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck. We fucked up.
It's ridiculous. I think, this still would have been a deeply flawed climax, and they definitely showed way too much of the monster. I think these guys definitely should have taken a few notes out of Ridley Scott's page and Alien and being a lot more...
Use the darkness.
Yeah, being a lot more careful with when they show the monster and how they show the monster. But I think he should have just... the ritual. The movie's called The fucking Ritual. Let's see the ritual. Fuck this guy. He's like... I like those horror movies that just says fuck all the protagonists. It's a horror movie.
I want to see Nicolas Cage.
Why is there happy endings in horror movies? How is a happy ending? That's not... Just a big thumbs down on that. I think he should have joined the fucking cult, being the next addition to the family.
Nicolas Cage in that village screaming about the bees. Not the bees!
Oh yeah, this is so Wicker Man.
Oh yeah, it's a poor man's Wicker Man, Blair Witch, and Downtown Abbey.
First half of the movie was so solid. Like I don't get freaked out watching movies a lot, but there was definitely some moments that really had me freaked out. The beginning.
The fucking culmination of the movie is that he turns around after he hits the tree line and screams at the monster like 8 times. He's like, "Wah, wah."
Yeah.
In this primal like rage. He's come through his hero's journey. He's at the end now. But he's really not done a fucking thing. He didn't save his friends. Like, the whole thing is, like, he's a coward that doesn't save his friends. That's the setup of the movie. Then he lets all his fucking friends die. And the monster could have killed him, but instead it, like, bowed to him. And it was like, hey, one of us, one of us. So he kind of just got shepherded through this thing. Basically, if you're looking at it like you're not a fucking moron, this guy just got coddled through a fucking horror movie. And he thinks he's tough now. He just looks like an asshole at the end.
Yeah.
Look how fucking tough I am. Yeah. I'm the hero now, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I sympathized with him a lot more in the beginning because, it's easy to sit there and go, oh, I totally would have helped my buddy. But, like, a guy's got a machete. They're clearly violent. They're clearly erratic. You don't have any weapons on you. This guy doesn't have any martial arts training. He's not a large built, guy. What's he going to do? I think at the end of the day, the dude should have just given up the fucking wedding ring, and he would have probably been fine.
But then even say that to him, like, he hid. He hid.
No, he shook his... No, they were looking at each other, and he shook his head. He shook his head at him. He was saying, like, don't do it, man. Like, don't fucking...
Yeah, from behind a fucking... I don't care about either of those characters at the end of the day. I don't care about either. They both suck. Key to a good horror movie. Don't have your protagonists suck if they're going to live. We all liked House of Wax because that bitch Paris Hilton died at the end, I'd assume, because I haven't seen it.
Dude, she gets some sort of pipe or bar, or like rebar, like straight through the fucking dome piece.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like, back to Ridley Scott, he does good character development. Like, for instance, what was the Prometheus?
Mm-hmm.
Prometheus, you got a shitload of backstory. You knew a little bit about all the characters. The ones that you didn't like died because of their character flaws, like their fucking machismo, like wandering around in that fucking temple where they all get murked.
Yeah.
You wanted them to die, and you knew they were gonna. And then Numi Rapace, who was the girl, lives because she's smart, and she's not a fucking prick like everybody else. So you want her to live. There was no point where I wanted Numi Rapace to die.
That's how you pronounce her name?
I wanted them to all fucking die. I believe so.
I've been pronouncing her name wrong this whole time.
I think that's how you say it. I mean, she's not listening, so it's fine.
She's definitely not listening.
Unless she is.
And if she is, hit me up, baby.
Tony Hopkins.
Add me on Facebook.
Leave Numi Rapace alone. Hashtag me too. Hashtag Oscars too white.
Hashtag she's hot.
That's how sexual harassment's gonna be now. Hey, you can't do that. Hey, you got nice feet.
You got
Anyway,
nice feet.
I like your feet. I want to look at them.
Anyway,
not
so I
touch.
wanted to look at my feet.
Okay, we gotta end this. This is nice. This is like a 45-minute-er. This is good.
That's good.
Thoughts on the movie?
Strong first half, weak second half, total shit ending.
Are you adding it to your DVD collection?
Fuck no. Fuck
All right.
no.
Yeah. For me, this movie can go fuck itself. I hope these actors get work in their relevant fields, but don't do horror anymore, boys.
Don't do.
Actually, horror is where careers go to die. So maybe it's time to fucking
9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times horror movies are just big giant shits.
big giant turds. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Comment if you made it through the whole fucking video, or don't. I don't care because I don't know who you are. Unless you're a nice person, then do and hit me up. Put your chips away. I'm gonna fucking stab you. Bye.